Students, today we are going to understand the new concepts coined by famous Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. Friends, modern linguistics based on some basic concepts given by linguists in the early 20th century. There are two thought currents basically work in the field of linguistics. The first American school of structural anthropologists includes Leonard Bloomfield and after World War II, Noam Chomsky. The European linguist thought current chiefly gives focus on the works of Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. Saussure coined these two terms, that is la langue, the language system, and parole, the act of speaking. In this lecture, in this video, we'll see the distinction between these two concepts and how they go similar to competence and performance, the concepts coined by Noam Chomsky. So firstly, let us understand la langue and parole. La langue, that means language. That is, all the rules and conventions regarding the combination of sounds, formations of words and sentences for pronunciation and meaning. All the above conventions constitute la langue and are product of social agreement. La langue, that is, la langue is the totality of language. It is deducible from an examination of the memories of all the language users. It is the storehouse, the sum of words, images in the minds of individuals. It's the product of social agreement. There is similarity of sounds, words, and meaning among the native speakers of language. They have the same images and signs in their minds. It's a collection of codes, potential, social, fixed meanings. On this regard, Saussure says, if we embrace the sum of word image stored in the mind of all individuals, we could identify the social bond that constitutes language. It is a storehouse filled by the members of a given community through their active use, a grammatical system that has a potential existence in each brain, and more specifically in the brains of a group of individuals. For language is not complete in any speaker. It exists perfectly only in collectivity. Saussure wants to say that language exists in a society. It is the society that creates some common codes of articulation and expression that is accepted by the society and used for day-to-day communication. So it is the society that creates language. Langue is social, a set of conventions shared by all the speakers of the language. Langue is abstract, as these particular conventions exist in the mind of speakers who belong to that society that has created language. Let us see an example of word D-O-G, dog. This three-letter word dog has a meaning in English, that is a four-legged animal. But if we see this same word in another language, let us say in Hindi, it is called kutta. The word dog in English and kutta in Hindi means the same thing, that is that four-legged animal, a barking animal. But both society accept that animal in different contexts, different words. Different words are used to denote, to signify the same animal. And that's why it's a set of conventions shared by all the speakers of a language. And these ideas are abstract. Language is abstract, and they are created in the minds of the speakers. Parole belong to the individual. Exactly in contrast goes parole. La langue is a set of conventions of a society which is practiced by every individual. But when we go to the micro level, we focus on the use of language by an individual. And when the conventions present in human mind as langue are used in a concrete form, in actual speech and writing, they become instances of parole. So langue means set of conventions, codes and expressions. But how these codes and expressions are converted into what we say speech and writing by an individual can be considered as parole. So the parole is the actual sounds and sentences produced by an individual speaker or writer. So I may say that if an individual makes use of particular expression, we can say that is parole, but it is the part of the whole structure of language which has been devised and designed by the society or the community. Parole is the concrete physical manifestation of the abstract language that exists in the mind, as I explained just now. If we hear somebody speaking a language that we don't know, we hear the sounds and sentences, that is parole. But we cannot understand it because we don't belong to it. We don't share the conventions or set of codes and expressions behind every individual sentences and sounds. La langue is the underlying system which makes the individual performance or parole meaningful. So it is the understanding of that particular set of ideas, set of norms that is underlying the parole. It is the la langue that makes parole meaningful. Without langue, parole would never be understood and could not serve the means of communication. Parole is individual performance of language in speech and writing. As language is abstract, nobody can identify its origin and the relation between signifier and signified. But the parole can decide, it can be concretized or it can be physical. Why? If an individual utter a word, we can say it has meaning in the society. The society considers it or that animal as a dog, Parole has full right to use it as the word dog. So it makes use of the physiological mechanism such as speech organs in uttering words and sentences. La langue exists in the mind of each individual in the form of word images and knowledge of conventions as an abstract form of grammar and dictionary of the language. So friend, this is how La langue and Parole work. While studying these concepts in detail, we'll find that an American linguist, Noam Chomsky, explains the same terminology in competence and performance. His concept of competence and performance is somewhat similar to Saussure's concept of langue and Parole. Competence, according to Chomsky, is the native speaker's knowledge of his language and the system of rules he has mastered. His ability to produce and understand a vast number of sentences. Competence is the study of rules, performance, and of actual sentences. Competence is an underlying mental system. It underlies actual behavior. It is the linguistic ability to analyze, detect ambiguities, analyze language. And performance is the use by an individual. So I hope students you have understood somewhat this dichotomy of La langue and Parole. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Goodbye.